Hello there, Matthew Miller here, and yes, on this podcast I'm going to be talking about contact tracing, and yes, it is here in New Zealand, and should we trust it, or should we get the app and allow them to track us, or should we not get the app? Well, people, that's up to you for you to decide. If you want to get the app, that's up to you. If you want to download it on your smartphone or on that military device that you hold in your hand. Yep. Yes, of course, the government is looking at the aim for contact tracing, and that's around April 6th. And that's when she sort of like announce it or something. And yes, here she says, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern told the Morning Report contact tracing border restriction and the use of self-isolation will be the new normal for a long time to come. Well, for me, the new normal is abnormal. Yep. Well, the Queen promised better days will return. Well, we will be sure better days will return. It's not because the Queen says it. And better days will not return unless we allow our government to take away our rights. And better days will return unless we take back our freedoms. Take back the freedoms that belong, the powers that belong to the people. The state is there only to protect the individual rights, no more. So, well, for a note, actually around 27 subscribers on YouTube, 24 on BitTube. Well, let's see if we can get up to 30. Let's see if we can do that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, people. We're almost at 30. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen on both YouTube and BitTube. Let's get to 30. Let's make it happen. Let's see the trio. Yeah, let's make it happen. Because man, we only receive a lot of subscribers after making the video about when doing past that bill. And yet that got around 300 views. Wow, and that's awesome. That's just from today when I last checked, and man, that video is doing great. And that's what sort of brought in more subscribers as well. And people, we can make it happen. Let's get up to 30. And well, that's enough with rambling of how many subscribers that we got now. Let's get to what we're there to talk. And here's the government talking at the app for contact tracing. And yes, it is here now. Probably 6 weeks later, it's here. Or probably 7 weeks. Well, I'm not going to really try to work it out right now. It might take up more time, so see if it's working. Yes, it's working. So let's move on. And what could the digital contract tracing look like? Good question. And this is from the 9 to noon and 12th of May. And yet, well, you're about to find out now. Here it is right here. And yet, it says protect yourself, your whānau, and your community. Well, does that even protect us? Oh, a person detects something that has a virus. Well, it's a phone. Well, it's a phone. Why? Unless they saw. The only time they will know it can detect the virus, unless the person is holding on the phone, that person is infected, and they had a contracting happen that though, and yeah. Yeah, and this is a screenshot of the Apple version, and yeah, the iOS, that means the operating system. The I operating system is what it stands for, and there it is there. And step four, the app asks you to enter your name and a phone number. The phone number is not mandatory, but as always, create an account just to my first name and last name. So, well, it is up and going now, and well, and that's over in Australia. Well, that's from Scott Morrison, and yeah, and of course over in Australia, and he said about it though, and yeah, let's go to what Australia is about, and yeah, when they launched that. Australia launched a controversial app, COVID-19 tracking, as some states start easing rules. And yeah, Melbourne writer, the Australian government launched a controversial coronavirus tracing app on Sunday in a promise to illustrate private protections to authorize to get the country and the economy back to normal footing. Yet Australia and every New Zealand both managed to get the coronavirus and outbreak under control, and it's and the thing is there actually even a virus? And there's the first stage you can't actually virus. What? From my point of view, can you or can't you catch virus? That's actually a good question here. Always, not always say, can you or can't you catch a virus? And well, cause there are other doctors like the case nurse and the natural nurse in the toxic world, and she was speaking about it though that viruses are exercise though they like clean up the all the crap in your body, and so yeah, if that's really the case, maybe viruses isn't a bad thing. It's probably exercise, and David Icke has spoken about it as well, and so yeah, that theory sort of starting to back up that you may not, you could not catch a virus. Yeah, that could be, yeah, the evidence sort of starts backing it up or something, and well, that's up to you for you to decide, people. If it's just say that, like, can you or can't you catch a virus? Well, I've been looking at a lot of articles and videos and that though, see if that's the case or not. So let's just move on. And yeah, Scott Morris said that you had to, the Australian government, which want at least 40% of the population to sign up to make the effort effective. They said the voluntary app will not track location as it is safe. Well, what is that? So what? Yeah. COVID safe, how Australian coronavirus tracking app works, how does it download and its problems. Oh, there it is there, and well, after you download the app from the Australian Apple Store and or Google Play, which you can access from the government COVID safe page or COVID safe gov.au or something, then you ask to register your name, your age range, postcode, and your phone number. So, and this register information is stored encrypted on government server, then passed on to the state, territory health authorities in the event that someone may have been contact has been tested positive. Well, so if you actually test positive and you has the app, and if you start getting closer, the phone will like alert you, say, oh, you're getting close to an affected person. Or you have to have like your cellular data or your Bluetooth going at all times, Which it will really, if you have that thing in your pocket, or if you're a woman and you have it like in your breast, it will roast you. That thing will roast you. Well, the app does not track locations, while the Google Vision app seeks permission for the location information due to permission needed for the Bluetooth. Well, Google always have a habit of tracking. They always have a habit of tracking people. So I don't think you can trust Google or something, and and I don't think you can really trust that mobile the app as well. So, and there's that lady which I ain't gonna get to, and she say, "Oh, can we trust it?" And I don't think this lady thinks so, which I will get to soon enough. And well, look like we already 10 minutes through, so let's just get to it. Let's just get to it, and yeah, and let's see what they gotta say.
Let's talk contact tracing, because it's a big part of going out these days, whether it's to shops, eateries or work. You have to sign in just about everywhere you go.
But everyone's doing that differently. It can be confusing and leave you wondering whether it actually works. Tomorrow, the government's putting out a new contract tracing app. Here's Tim Wilson on why it's so important.
Music, can't play it through there because I'll get copyrighted if I do, so I like to play through it, but I can't because they have the music going. If I play through, I'll get copyrighted, so I had to just skip through it. Here we go.
Now this is a very interesting issue. Nanotechnologist Michelle Dickinson is here now. Great to talk to you, Michelle. Should people have privacy concerns with contact tracing?
Yes, very much so, and this is a great...
She actually moved face up and down, so yes. Well, let's see, let's go to the Guardian over there. Let's go over there. Prior concern persists over Australian coronavirus tracing app. So they say, yeah, because people start having to be skeptical if it say, does it track you or not? Well, people, I don't think I really can trust it though, because they can lie to you and say, oh, we're not tracking you, we're not that, but then they do it. So I don't think I'm going to trust the people. Well. Yeah. And I know, people, there's a lot to read, and I'm going to just let you decide on this as well. So, and there's a file called Tony. Yeah, there's that Tony Blair. Yeah, Blair. Well, he says that surveillance is a price worth paying to beat the coronavirus. Well, trying to tell people to sacrifice their privacy. Well, if you're going to tell me to sacrifice my privacy, I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's just get back to what this lady was saying.
Great time for us to think about our own personal privacy and where data is kept. There are different apps out there, and you know, as Tim said, he's worried about sharing his pen. My advice is bring your own pen if you're worried about it, but you should be more worried about who is seeing your data.
Because you can't catch a
The
virus.
paper data is that as you write your name and your address and your phone number in, I've recently been to cafes here where I can see the people who have been here before me. So you need to make sure that that is sort of being hidden if possible. And if you are downloading an app with a QR code, you need to make sure that it's a decentralized app. That means that the data is kept with you on your phone and not sold or given to other people.
Now, the government's promising to release an app tomorrow. Why has it taken so long?
Yeah, so you would say it's taken a long time. Actually, if you have ever built technology, you know that actually this is a really short period of time. We've really only had a couple of months to design new things. And for the government, they're going to have to design something that is reliable and that we can trust. And so it's actually quite a short period of time, although it is a little bit...
So we can trust. Trust in me. just trust in me. It's like the snake from the Jungle Book say, oh, close your eyes and trust me. Oh, boy. Well, let's just continue.
But, challenging that it hasn't come out before level 2 took place. So lots of organisations, businesses, restaurants have had to come up with their own solution. The thing is, it's kind of nice coming out a little bit later. We've been able to look at what Singapore has done, what Australia has done, and we've learned from their lessons around how their Bluetooth systems have not been working. And I think learning from those lessons and being a second comer to this will mean that hopefully our app has learned from these and we'll have a much better system in place.
Okay, Michelle, so in your opinion...
Well, it doesn't always going to be the case, so... Because there could be some idiots in the place that don't do a good job, so which we might get to as well.
What's the key to having a really good contact tracing app?
Yeah, so I think the key is it has to be voluntary. We have to choose to do this, and for us to choose to want to do this, we have to be able to trust that our data is safe. That means it needs to be...
To trust if our data is safe, well, I don't think so. I don't actually think so. I'm quite skeptical of that, though. I'm not sure of that, so...
Decentralized in the way that it stores information. So in an app that you're...
Well, if it's like government, based from the government, so it's not decentralized, more centralized.
Your data is kept on your phone and not kept centrally, so that's the difference. And it also has to be really easy to use. The second you make it complicated, nobody's going to use it, and apps need to be taken up by estimates, and modelling looks at least 60% of the population. We know that over 80% of New Zealanders have smartphones, so if we can get the majority of smartphone owners to actually download one single app or an app that communicates within the same system, then we can have a contact tracing system that really works. And we need something that is basic to start with that we can build on. I mean, the potentials for the app with the government are that maybe we could be our health passport if we start doing...
Health passport, people! Health passport. Well, she even said it. Yeah, like a health certificate. Say that, and I think Bill Gates has said it as well. About it, say that, well, you have to have a health passport if you want to travel in that. She had mentioned it. Bingo. Ha ha ha. Man, there it is. Let's go back a bit.
Really works, and we need something that is basic to start with that we can build on. I mean, the potentials for the app with the government are that maybe we could be our health passport if we start doing trans-Tasman business and travelling, and so the ability to start really simple so everybody knows how to use it and they trust it, and then we can build new features on.
Very important information there. Thanks, Michelle. Great to talk to you tonight.
And wow, there she is, a health passport. Wow. And boy, wow. And yeah. And well, what could go wrong with the app? And well, before we go there, let's look at the numbers of the fake virus there, which we call the F virus. Well, no, it's the CV virus. It's not F virus. Well, yeah, well, COVID-19, coronavirus, what you need to know of Thursday's big development. Well, I don't really have time to talk about for it, but let's just get to the numbers. Now, I know the police shared terms of a good night at level 2. Well, I'm not going to really play through that because I might do it on another video, which I'll be talking about the police as well. Put my message to them as well, which I will do a video about that. So, and Tetris. And yeah, he's like a Chinese puppet though. And also Bill Gates, which he's also been funding the China, the Communist China, because even the Chinese government, X Jinping or something, he even sent a thank you letter to Bill Gates. The Chinese government sent a thank you letter to Bill Gates. Sweden had overtaken the United Kingdom of the highest death rate around the world. Well, because people just have a weak immune system. If you want to live, keep your immune system strong. Get some vitamin D. Because you know that it's actually, because when it gets cold and there's not much sunlight, so that's why and we don't get much sunlight, you're actually more prone to illness because of the lack of vitamin D. And yet there's the numbers. Here and there we go, and we're currently at around 1,503, 0 new cases, 21 deaths, and there's only about 30 active cases. Well, I thought there would still be at least like probably just around 50 or maybe a little less, but 30? Well, but way less than I expected. Because I don't really keep track on the numbers these days. As well. And we also say that we almost around 5 million confirmed cases, and we're probably actually around that now. Of course, that would be from the Johns Hopkins University as well. Well, people, let's just move on. And yeah, flawed in the government app. Wow. And well, I told you something could go wrong. Just play from here.
Probably with the detail it's gone into, because it's an extra app on top of what the processes we already have to do. So instead of QR coding in once, you've technically got a QR twice, because the actual government New Zealand tracing app isn't an authenticated method for us to use. We find that people get stuck at the door waiting to downcode, and if there's 3 or 4 people in the group, then there's a slightly delay, but if they're having to do 2 apps to come in, it's going to go on. The only way we say the app working at the moment is for personal usage. We were, probably, if anything, we're today a little bit disappointed with the level that the app's gone, and not sure whether it would be effective. Man.
Yeah, well, looked like it had already gone wrong. And you had to get the QR twice to even get it to work. Well, I'll say not as convenient as it said it. So, well, it's time that we actually move on. And of course, before we get to this lady, I am going to go to this one here. Legally, businesses don't have to contact trace. And yes, and there it is here. And the golden rule for businesses at level 2. Do everything you can do to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission at work. We all have our part to play in keeping each other safe. COVID-19 is still out there. Play it safe. Well, there's only 30 cases. New Zealand wide. All businesses can operate if they can do it safely. Alternative ways to still working. Encourage where possible. Talk to your workers and identify risks and ways to manage them, and ask. Ask everyone, workers, contractors, customers with cold flu symptoms to stay away from your premises. Well, yeah, if you do have cold flu, yeah, it's best that you do stay at home. And yet, make sure you do get some vitamin D, get some sunlight, because that way you're actually going to have a better chance of getting better quickly. Keep groups of customers at least 1 meter apart or 2 meters for retail businesses. Keep contact tracing or records of everyone who came close interaction with, for example, workers, contractor, customers. Retail businesses are not required to keep tracing records. Well, there's a file that's circled around there. Reduce the numbers of shared services and regularly disinfectant and wash hands. Well, You don't have to put it in once. You don't have to like 3 times. Well, now it's time that we get to the lady here. Yeah, well, about 25 minutes, and let's just get to it. Wow. And let's get to what she's got to say. And I know I'm not going to actually say beware of the contact traces. Well, I'm not going to go through everything what she says because it is going to take a long while. So let's just get to it right now and let's start right here.
Of medical Gestapo, medical inquisitors. This is like a grand inquisition based on positive test results for this stupid virus. So if you go in, you test positive for the stupid virus, these people, if you live in the wrong place, these people will call you and they will quiz you about everyone you talk to and everywhere you go.
Wow.
And then these people, these medical tyrants, will call the places you've been, and they will call the people you've been in contact with, and they will quiz them.
And yet, of course, our government here in New Zealand has passed the bill in record time to allow police to come in homes without warrant. And they say, well, if they have reasonable grounds to come in your home, they can do so. And we say, oh, we believe you're infected with COVID-19, so we're just going to come in. We're coming in. We're coming in. Yes. Yeah, well, let's move on from here and 538, but let's go here.
I'm going to talk about. Let's look at this paper, In the Name of Public Health, Nazi Racial Hygiene, by Susan Bacharach, PhD. In democratic societies, the needs of public health sometimes require citizens to make sacrifices for the greater good. But in Nazi Germany, national or public health took complete precedence over individual health care. Physicians and medically trained academics, many of whom were proponents of racial hygiene or eugenics, legitimized and helped to implement Nazi policies aiming to cleanse German society of people viewed as biologic threats to the nation's health. Can you get your head around it? Because in this case, it's not racially based, but it is the same thing. Please try to separate out the whole World War II narrative from this other part, which is just the science, okay? Separate those two things out, and you're going to see that it's exactly like what we're going through right now. Don't get triggered by the Nazi thing or the Jewish thing or any of it.
Well, I'm going to get some water. I ain't going to get some water, but I'm going to play it from here. No, I'm going to play it from here. Just going to get some water, so I'll just be back. Well, well, let's get to it right here.
And think of 23andMe. Think of Ancestry.com. Everybody, they wanted your DNA.
Yeah, Ancestry.com. Wow.
They wanted it really badly. They still want it really badly. What's it all about? It must be about figuring out who is who. And now they have the contact tracer program, which they say is all about this stupid virus. But is it? What are their real purposes for this?
Wow, yeah, good question, yeah. What's the real purpose? Good question. And that's the answer to what we got. That's the questions that were what we're actually asking. Wow. Hmm. Yeah, now I got my elderberry here, and yeah, worked on a show just yesterday, and boy, and well, let's just move on. Yeah.
Did you hear that part? Let me play this part again from, I think it was Gavin Newsom, saying basically that we are going to have to accept this invasion into our privacy.
Wow.
And that's just going to require an army of folks and the capacity of consideration from individuals to allow for their privacy to be impacted by that kind of acuity of attention based upon where they've been and who they talk to.
And there are all too many people out there willing to do that. That's why I said Gestapo.
Wow, yep, Katasha. Well, yep. It's just a sign to show as well that I don't think we should probably get this at privacy concern. Even the Guardian shows it, and even that I don't think we should probably best to just stay away from the app. Even the person that admitted said it would be. Yeah, I might try to find that part about Bill Gates about the health pass, about the vaccine passport, and which the lady had mentioned it, and yeah, and I really spotted that one, and well, let's just continue. Around 27 minutes in the video.
Off Google, censorship is rampant right now, in case you hadn't noticed. And finally, I want to wrap up with this. Is this even legal? According to healthandhumanservices.gov, only you or your personal representative has the right to access your records.
Wow.
Where are the lists coming from that Partners in Health or state government are using? Where are these coming from? That is illegal. That is a violation of patient rights. And perhaps that will be what ends up putting a stop to all of this.
Yeah.
Testing. Everybody wants a piece of this because we are their new market. And the more invasive the data they have about us, the more leverage points they have on us, the more they can manipulate their new market.
Yeah, we are the new market, so we are their product.
It's all one thing. And you don't have to listen to them. I mean, just tell them no. Just tell them no. Try to get over the fear.
Exactly, yep. We just gotta get over the fear side. I ain't gonna go and look it up. Bill Gates health passport. Oh, there it is. Well, people, immunity passport. There it is. Wow, wow. Yep. Immunity passport. Yeah, well, there's for the immunity. Yeah, Q&A immunity passport. Even the human. Yeah, and the lady that mentioned around And the TV said, Michelle, she mentioned about it. This could be a house passport. They said that though, and she mentioned it right there. And I decided to look at what Bill Gates was saying. Bill Gates' house passport. Oh, this could be our house passport. And she had mentioned it. And boy, wow. And well, people, I hope you really enjoyed this video. And also, there's one thing. I also have a discourse. And also around Friday, I am planning to have people. If you really want to have a chat with me, do send me an invite on Discord so we can have a chat, and you may make a friend or two. But there may be some rules to follow, and I'm still working on that. So people, I hope you enjoyed this video, and this is all I gotta say for now. It's time to wrap this up. This is Matthew Miller, signing off, over and out.